Hello there.
So we have a huge info dump of a bunch of different leaks for Deadpool and Wolverine. Anything that's coming out at this point from any of the reliable leakers on Twitter or Reddit or whatever is pretty much confirmed to be real, especially this close to release. So we have a good idea of what the movie is and what the movie isn't. We're going to break it all down in this video. If you guys enjoy my Marvel content, consider subscribing. And let's get into the video.
The Atomic Fair.
So about a year ago, the plot for Deadpool and Wolverine was actually very different than what it is today. Prior reports on Deadpool 3 had Deadpool entering the Fox universe with Wolverine and taking on various X-Men, as well as a TVA putting together a multiversal team to take on Kang, wanting to recruit Wolverine and using Deadpool to recruit Wolverine. These were all plot elements that were set to debut, and we were set to see a lot of old scenes in the Fox X-Men movies recreated and revisited in Deadpool 3. That plot has been completely wiped away for what we see today. Now, the plot that we see today is basically that we are going to get Deadpool being recruited by the TVA to stop Cassandra Nova and recruiting a version of Wolverine to do it. Version of Wolverine that he's going to recruit is going to be the worst version of Wolverine basically to ever exist, and we are going to find out that Cassandra Nova resides in the Void and has her own team of mutants that she's used to kind of take over the Void, and there's also going to be a resistance team of X-Men. The Void is going to be where 70% of Deadpool and Wolverine takes place. That's been covered by various leakers at Reddit, and old cameos that were set to be in the movie and old fight sequences. Like, for example, there was supposed to be a Scarlet Witch versus Jean Grey fight scene. That's been completely wiped from the movie. That old plot has been completely wiped away for what we now see in Deadpool. But we have some pretty crazy leaks that have come out here in the past few weeks. And man, the more I hear about this movie, it's just insane what the Marvel Universe has become, because this is going to be a crazy cameo nostalgia fest. And it seems like Spider-Man No Way Home, where it's actually going to be a good plot, and they're actually going to be using a lot of this old Fox X-Men cast in ways that make a whole lot of sense. Now, we have reports like a Juggernaut variant being set to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine, and we know pretty much that it's probably going to be the version from Deadpool 2, because the guy who played Kane Marco in X-Men 3 actually said that he denied wanting to return for Deadpool and Wolverine. So this is probably going to be the Deadpool 2 version of Juggernaut, and I'm assuming that he's going to be a villain. I'm really hoping so, and I'm hoping that we get him in his proper outfit. There is a chance, though, that Juggernaut is actually on the Resistance team fighting against Cassandra Nova. I think because he is the stepbrother of Charles Xavier, it would make a little bit more sense for him to be going against Cassandra Nova, especially since reports that we have heard about her being so evil. But a lot of the spoilers that we know here for this rebel team that's going to be fighting against Cassandra Nova is that it's going to contain Gambit, X-23, and Elektra, and more members of the Resistance group in the Void fight against Cassandra Nova and the people that work for her. Now, I'm assuming this is also going to be Ben Affleck's Daredevil on this team. I'm assuming we're going to have a couple variants of Deadpool and maybe a couple variants of Wolverine as well. Some characters we're definitely not going to see is Jean Grey returning, and unless of course she's pulling an Andrew Garfield where she's lying, she's pretty much come out and said that she is not returning for Deadpool and Wolverine. I could actually see that one being real, but keep your eyes open, because there's definitely a chance that Jean Grey could still be in the movie, especially with Andrew Garfield and the way that he handled the press tour for Spider-Man No Way Home. Chris Evans is set to rear his head back as not Captain America in Deadpool 3, but as the Human Torch. Now, I'm thinking this is going to harken back to a potential Deadpool 2 cameo that was set to happen when Fantastic Four were actually in the plot of Deadpool 2. So this is a story for a whole nother video in and of itself. But yes, there was a time where the Fantastic Four were going to be in Deadpool 2, and the Human Torch was set to cameo. This was going to be in the scene where they're recruiting for the team of X-Force, and Chris Evans comes in. Apparently, there's patriotic music playing, and people are thinking it's Captain America, but instead he turns into Johnny Storm. I'm thinking it's going to be something similar like this for Deadpool 3, but we are going to see, because it looks like Chris Evans is about to make his grand return to the MCU here in the next couple years. Now, other reports we have about this Rebel team is that Daphne Keane, X-23, and Channing Tatum are actually going to have some decent-sized roles in this movie, so I'm guessing they are going to be either leaders of this team or they're going to play prominent roles in some of the schemes and ways that they try to come up with taking down Cassandra Nova. Now, going into Cassandra Nova's character, we've had already various reports by different leakers that she is going to be an absolutely insane version of the character that we saw from the comics, that she stole a sling ring from Doctor Strange, so she probably potentially killed a Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know if we're going to see that in the movie, but something to keep in mind as well is that old reports about this movie said that she was one of the main villains, but that potentially we were actually going to see other main villains with her as well. So I don't know if she is going to be the leader of this rebel team or that she is going to be partnered up with maybe a variant of Magneto or something like that. We do know that she has control of Magneto's helmet in the Void and that they do not have access to another helmet at this point in time, so that there's really no way to stop her telepathic abilities. But Cryptic HD, who's a pretty reliable leaker and has gotten a lot of things right, he's kind of in the circle of reliable leakers that report on various Marvel scoops. He said that Cassandra Nova stays faithful and true to the source material. She's evil and twisted, and she's a serious nutcase of a villain. She has no regards for life and is a very formidable adversary. We also know for sure from Cryptic HD that she is going to be the twin sister of Charles Xavier. That is an absolutely insane leak because it shows that they're saying true to the comics. She's not just going to be some female variant of Professor X. This is his twin sister who, in the comics, he actually killed in the womb because he detected how evil she was. I think it's kind of an insane plot. And it really makes no sense, especially because just because he's a genius and a telepath doesn't mean he would be so advanced as a baby. But, you know, you kind of lean into these stories and it's going to be kind of cool to see on screen. I'd rather them stay faithful to the crazy, insane story than them go off track and have her just be a female variant of Professor X. But we see shots in the trailer where she's actually controlling Wolverine, and some people think that she has the powers of Magneto. I don't think that's the case. I think she's just using her telekinetic abilities to control Wolverine. But apparently, this version of Wolverine is going to be the worst of the worst. He's going to be the most low-down version of Wolverine, which makes sense because his vibe was a little off in the trailer. It was a little different than some of the things that we've seen him do in the past. Specifically, putting his forehead to the barrel of the gun and smirking seemed a little twisted for Wolverine to do, which I think it was badass. I do think it was amazing. I'm not hating on it, but I just think it was crazy to see Hugh Jackman play a little bit more of a twisted version of Logan. But apparently this version is going to be told how epic the other versions of Wolverine are, and he's going to be told how the main version of Wolverine from the Fox universe died tragically trying to save X-23. Apparently this is going to be in a scene that's kind of trying to motivate him. I'm assuming this is a bit of the scene that we saw in the trailer. But some other cool things that we can see with Wolverine is that we can see a bust here, which gives us our best look at what he's going to look like with the helmet. He's actually going to have the white eyes, so it's going to be really crazy. If they can do this with Wolverine, they have no excuse now to not give Batman the white eyes. Now, apparently, some more bombshell stuff with this Wolverine is that he's going to wear a suit in the movie. Of course, the yellow and blue suit, but he wears this suit not because he has to, but because he has a symbolic attachment to it. It's a link to his past that he clings onto. So we're going to find out exactly why this Wolverine is such a piece of trash in the movie. And we're going to see what crazy, cameos actually end up popping up in the movie. Another crazy cameo is apparently Natalia Tina joining Deadpool as an X-23 variant. I am not sure if this is going to be just a variant from another universe that pops up with another Wolverine variant for maybe a small scene, but this is apparently a scene that's going to end up happening in the film. But this is apparently a casting that is finalized and is going to end up in the movie. Another bombshell cameo has to do with Wesley Snipes' Blade. So we know that he signed a deal to appear in multiple multiverse projects, but we are now hearing that he is going to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine as his variant of Blade. And apparently the most recent leak that we have here in the last week is that Deadpool and Wolverine is actually being reshot to add more cameos into the movie. So I think they're playing off of the hype that's going on for this film, and Marvel has this tendency to just keep reshooting and reshooting and reshooting and responding to fan criticism as details for the movie come out, and and adjusting accordingly, or what their idea of accordingly is. I hope they don't butcher this movie too much and add too many crazy cameos, but apparently, yeah, they're reshooting the movie and they're going to be adding a whole bunch of cameos, which we're going to find out about here in just a few months. So comment down below, let me know what you guys think about these bombshell Deadpool 3 leaks, what you think about this movie, if it's actually going to save the MCU, or if it actually starts the train of films that do save the MCU because we actually get this multiverse story rolling. I think that option is a lot more likely, but comment down below, let me know what you guys think about the most recent Deadpool 3 leaks. And for this video, guys, that's all I got. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.